Like when I go to the South, and like
when you were in Alabama, that's what you were doing.
Extra shit. Yeah, definitely. Like,
you're fucking disgusting. We should
like
have a hotel room.
When I want some extra deodorant, yeah, I definitely bring that shit.
That's what that smell was.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're disgusting, bro.
Shout out to the Gold Bomb.
You can't use. You can't use Gold Bomb.
I just wanted to say that
you can't use it anymore, though.
Why?
Because it causes cancer.
No, that's
Did you not see
baby powder. That's baby powder.
Same shit.
No, it's not.
Different name, same product, right?
No, they're not. They're different. They have different ingredients.
Okay, break this down because I know this is near and dear to your heart.
So there's some baby powder. Most of it is made with talc. Usually that's talc powder. Yeah. But technically, okay, so basically, technically what they found is an ingredient in baby powder causes cancer when inhaled, like by fact. Now, they've taken that and said that it causes cancer just in general.
In women.
In women specifically, more so than anybody else.
Ovarian cancer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they use it down there.
Yeah, because they use it down there. But the evidence, you read the medical journals, and it's inconclusive. Now, whether or not that's true is... It's like, okay, like they didn't find a direct link, but there's also like a shit ton of women who had ovarian cancer who've used this product, and they're like, yo, this is a link. Now, they haven't found that direct link to ovarian cancer, but there's enough women that they're like, we just don't want to deal with this, so we're taking it off the shelves. Ultimately, it was a Johnson & Johnson decision. They weren't mandated by anybody to do it. They just said, we're tired of dealing with all these fucking lawsuits. So
get all these motherfucking lawsuits on this motherfucking
But there's other powders that are out there that don't have talcum in them. And overall, whether or not you use it, I mean, it's at your own leisure. I mean, I still use it. I don't use a lot of it, but I use it for some of my creases and crevices just because chafing is real.
Please don't ever say creases and crevices on the air ever again.
Is that obscene?
That's obscene. You're going to make somebody's going to be like, did you ever listen to the Touchdowns and Tangents podcast between the years 2015 and 2020?
You might have mesothelioma.
Mesothelioma. You may have ear cancer. Are you bleeding out of your ears? Appalled at the horrible shit that you're hearing people say. Did you ever hear Pete Camarillo say cracks and crevices or creases and crevices? Yeah, you might be entitled to not a goddamn thing because the hardest thing to do in court is to collect. Remember that, bitch.
But yeah,
shotgun blast.
Back to the point. The NFL is just all over the place with how they're trying to attack this COVID thing, and you know, somebody I follow, Khalil McKenzie, you know, he's married to someone I went to high school with.
What?
So I followed him, yeah. But
happy for them. They look a great couple. They had the wedding in the backyard. The RG, their shit was looking dope.
Yeah. Shout out to Alyssa. I went to college with her. I went to high school with her. She was a few years younger than me, but her older brother was in my grade. He was a soccer player. But yeah, anyways, so he actually reposted somebody who was like, you know, like, yeah, like, I'm one of those players who needs the check, like, for sure. And like, people were trying to roast him in the comments, and he's like, yeah, like, for sure, I'm one of the players that needs the check. But at the same time, like, I'm also a brother, father, not a father, but the dude he reposted was like, I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm an uncle, I'm a cousin, I'm all these things beyond just a football player. And so you're asking me to totally risk all that to play the game that I love, and it's really not worth it because the NFL really isn't even doing anything to even pretend like they're thinking about their player safety. While the other leagues, you know, at least are giving out the appearance by building these extravagant bubbles. The NFL is just saying, well, you know, we're going to try to do business as usual. But as we mentioned, it's going to vary from place to place, team to team. So as far as I'm concerned, I really am not expecting there to be a season. And if there is, I think it'll probably be in the new year.
Will it be worse than lockout seasons?
I don't know. I can't really speak to that.
Well, do you think it'll be somewhere along the replacements?
I'm not 50.
Shit, you're not 50?
Yeah.
50.
50. Like, I wasn't alive in the lockout season.
I know, but when you think about, because like they're still talking about schools not reopening. And apparently Trump was threatening to like pull financial aid from colleges that don't, or schools that don't go back to being in a physical classroom. But the teachers union is fighting that hard. And honestly, if you can't have by the way, the number of players who have COVID in college football is growing by the day. Because North Carolina just reported 37 people. Didn't
Trump have like a DeVry, for-profit school situation?
University?
Something like that, yeah. Yes. I think he had a university like that. Which all those
ICDC college type shit?
All those got fucking regulated under the Obama administration and got dismantled and shit like that. So he's probably like, well, look, I had all these online colleges and they got dismantled, so now let me dismantle all these other colleges that are being online because they have to, not just because
and now ICE,
it's a value.
And now by the way, fuck 12 and fuck ICE. So now the way ICE is coming in and pretty much saying that, well, if you're a grad student and you're not from here, if you don't find a school that has physical online meeting classes, then you'll be deported. But that makes no sense because we're in a pandemic and no one can meet for classes. So what the fuck? And you factor that in, and you factor schools in, and you factor in these universities, colleges who are supposed to have football. And like I just said, North Carolina just came out with 37 cases. Boise State had 22. They had a whole contract, 53 pages long, that they want the athletes to sign. Boise State's been dealing with this issue for about a couple weeks now. They've been trying shit.
Which brings me to the next topic that I wanted to talk about. Stanford, the university with the most overall championships.
What?
They have the most overall championships.
Are you saying that to be offensive because I'm wearing a USC hoodie and wearing
all across sports?
Like, I thought it was UCLA.
No, they're number 2. UCLA is number 2. But yeah, Stanford.
Hear that, Alabama?
Yeah, but they got in like water polo and like random shit like that.
I remember it was a story that
no disrespect to water polo. I fuck water polo. I've covered water polo several times.
They're better athletes,
and I would actually go to water polo games in high school.
Water polo games at CSUN were low key lit.
I only went to like one. I had to write a lot of recaps.
Yeah, because you got the
from
stats.
Matadors, yeah.
You got the
stats. Yeah, I get the stats.
Yeah.
I interviewed the coaches and stuff like that when they had changes.
They were cool. I remember one time a story came out. I think I was like the assistant sports editor, and it's something like they were pissed at us on my birthday about a story that dropped because I guess we got their national ranking wrong.
Oof.
Or we didn't like harp on it enough, but I was like, but your rankings, like, I don't know, whatever it was, the ranking wasn't like official. Like, it was a projected ranking.
Yeah.
So they got pissed about it. I was just like, well, and I'm like, well, and then they're like, well, that's why we don't talk to you guys. I was like, no, y'all don't talk to us because you don't make yourself available on purpose. And then when we try to come talk to you, you give us a cold shoulder, which is what a lot of the Olympic sports do because they feel like they don't get enough coverage.
The runners.
Track, especially, shout out the inspirational, I'll talk about that later, but the Inspiration Awards was today, the track meet. They had like one in like Europe, another country, like Netherlands and shit, like all over the world, but like it was in Walnut, California for Americans. But yeah, it was dope. But anyway, back to college sports.
Yeah, so Stanford pretty much got rid of, what was it, 11 sports or 13 sports?
Boise State got rid of like 13, and they got rid of baseball.
Yeah, so basically they cut a bunch of different sports, and I shared this article with KB offline, but there was an article in Sportico, which is a new startup sports business publication, featuring Mike Freeman and many others, Barry Bloom. Anyways, so basically what it was saying is that universities should actually be looking to add sports right now because it's a reason for people to want to go into universities and stay involved. Because what a lot of people don't know is sports usually fall into two categories. The, money makers, the basketball and the football, where, 90% of the athletes have a scholarship, full ride. And then there's the kind of equality sports, the Title IX sports, which, have scholarships, and the top players are scholarships, but the rest of the roster is usually filled out by walk-ons or people paying their own way. They gave an example of like a wrestling team, which is like, I think, 33 people and only 10 of them have scholarships. So there's another 23 people that are actually paying their way. So in fact, sports like that are actually revenue generating because the students are paying tuition and paying their own way. And that offsets, whatever losses they take on the athletic side. So that's pretty much what that article was. And believe that was at the University of Idaho. And the dude who had put together that presentation basically was like, yeah, I had this whole presentation set up about how we should keep these sports and add these sports because they're actually, bringing us people who are going to pay to go to our school. And they were like, no, we don't want to hear that.
Plus, yeah, if it's small money, they usually don't care about it in the budget. Like, it's easier to get rid of it.
Stanford cut 11 varsity sports.
And also the Ivy League.
Including men's volleyball, wrestling.
How do you feel about men's volleyball as a sport?
I mean, it's cool.
Competitively, like,
it's cool.
I always thought women's volleyball was way more competitive. I don't know why.
Nah, women's volleyball is more like, it feels more like, I don't know, it just feels more like volleyball. Like, if it's more technical, like, there's more passing, there's more like defense, I feel like.
Yeah.
Versus fucking men's volleyball is just like
cats who can't play basketball
who are jumping out of the fucking gym.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, they're jumping high as fuck. But I'm not gonna say that they can't play basketball because honestly, men's volleyball players are like some of the most athletic people around. They have stupid vert.
It's freakishly ridiculous.
They have stupid vert.
Like, they probably can't play basketball like great, but like if they were able to play football, they'd be a receiver. But I always thought that was interesting when I would watch, because I would notice men's volleyball. It's just a lot of explosive plays. Like, it's like when I watch women's basketball, I know they have better technique, or if not the same. The athleticism may not be there, but I just always thought that with like volleyball, I feel like schools value volleyball more, women's volleyball more than they value.
Well, Kobe actually said that. He was like, I watch a lot of WNBA just because it was a lot more technical and fundamentally sound. Like, I watched a lot. He was talking about how he watched a lot of Taurasi.
Oh yeah, because Taurasi's a beast. Like, I would take her in a 3-point shootout against anyone in the world.
He was like, she for sure could beat some men in the league. Yeah. She was like, for sure.
Prime Taurasi before the injuries, she would go one-on-one with Steph Curry, and I honestly would be cool with taking my money with Prime Taurasi or Prime Curry.
Damn.
I said that.
So here, Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger cited that D1 members have now cut 56 sports, the most in 14 years. There were 66 in 2006. By sport, tennis 15, golf 5, swim 5, track 4, fencing 4, BSB, I'm not sure what that is, 3, squash 3, rowing 3, soccer 2, cross country 2, sailing 2, wrestling 2, SIX sports, I don't know what that is, 1, volleyball, skiing, lacrosse, equestrian, field hockey 1.
You said BSB sports?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. It's saying there are 6 sports that each had 1 eliminated, and that would be volleyball, skiing, softball, lacrosse, equestrian, field hockey. What's the difference between field hockey and lacrosse?
Field hockey is like hockey, but like on concrete.
Oh, okay.
The ball doesn't, like the puck.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
lacrosse.
Okay, yeah.
That shit is rough.
So by gender, 33 sports. What for men eliminated and 22 for women eliminated.
And also coupling that, because we're talking about Ivy League, and people love to say Stanford is the Ivy League of the West Coast. The Ivy League just canceled all their fall sports.